Hello, my loves, and welcome to another episode of Drumroll, the High Ticket Coach podcast with Michelle Hext. You guys, I just could not keep rolling with Fempire. It wasn't doing it for me. And I've wrestled with this over a little bit. And so I spoke with my promotion team, and it turns out there was no real good excuse or reason for not changing the name of the podcast. So here we are. I also need to let you know that I recorded the most amazing podcast last week on Monday, or this week on Monday. And I did what I typically do. I go out for my walk later in the day and I listen to my own podcast. And I could not hear anything. And I thought, oh, maybe it's something to do with my headphones. No, I had somehow muted the microphone. And so we had 33 minutes of dead noise. And the reason for that is I was recording the podcast. I had somebody come and knock on the door, and then I came back in to record and just must have had a brain fade. And I was devastated because, I love recording my podcasts, and some are great, and some are just next level where I feel like, oh, that message is going to put me on a high for days. It was one of those, and I was just so devastated. I couldn't come back in and try to recreate it. It just wasn't going to happen. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just go in and I'll create another podcast. Didn't happen. I just didn't do it, couldn't force myself, and I don't force myself to do anything these days. Anyway, so this is just a quick podcast just to give you a heads up that we are now back to the High Ticket Coach podcast. If you are new here, I promise I am not flaky. I don't change my mind every 5 seconds. This podcast started as the High Ticket Coach podcast. I did do one change that was a little bit kind of knee-jerk reaction-y, and then I went back to the High Ticket Coach podcast. And then when I launched my membership that I no longer have, I created it under the name of Empire Builders. And then when that membership closed down, it no longer felt like a really good fit. And it was like, oh, do I want to change it again? But the reality is, if it doesn't feel aligned, we have to do what it takes, right? And if that means losing some subscribers because they're like, what the hell is going on? Sometimes we just got to do that, right? Sometimes we have to do whatever we need to do to feel completely aligned and in tune with what it is that feels like the perfect fit for our brand. So I'm going to leave it there today. I will deliver a proper podcast for you on Monday as per my usual, but just wanted to let you know we have a change. There is and the reason for the change is I just couldn't avoid it anymore. It was in my craw that it was still called the podcast, the Empire Builders. The pink was driving me crazy, and so now here we are. All is right again with the world. So let's just go ahead and forget Empire Builders ever existed. We are now the High Ticket Coach podcast, and you can expect the same amazing content, maybe even better, because it feels like a level up coming back to this name. Anyway, that is it. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. It is going to be a wet and cold and grey weekend here in Melbourne. And I think I'm just going to sneak into my office and bunker down and get some projects done. It feels like the perfect time to do that. Anyway, I will see you Monday. Take care. Bye for now.